Leadership, 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 success, success, success. Hi, my name is Jonathan Medina. I'm America's #1 youth motivator. I'm your teacher, I'm your coach, I'm your friend, and I'm your teammate. And today we're talking about leadership, success, and guess what, guys? It's National Gear Up Week. This is an amazing week. We are going to have the most amazing time. Let's go. Thank you so much to Ali Spencer and Blooming Grove for inviting me to be with all of you guys. Hashtag National Gear Up Week. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about what's going to go on today. Today, we're going to talk about how to have the most amazing ninth grade or whatever grade you're in. For me, the story that I'm going to tell was from ninth grade. We're going to talk about how education is so powerful and how to overcome a personal pandemic. And then if you all stay on, I'm going to share with you guys how you can win $100. Normally, if I'm speaking, like if I was at your school, we were doing a school assembly, or if we were doing a camp where we were going to have multiple events, someone would introduce me before I ever met you guys. So normally someone like Ali would go on stage and she would say something like, Jonathan has spoken to over 1,000 schools at places such as Harvard and Texas A&M, University of Texas. They might say something like he's reached over 1 million students, educators, and even parents. He was a Georgetown University football player, started for 2 years, by the way. He's been featured on ESPN, NBC, ABC, Fox, TED. This is a brand new one, guys. I recently became a best-selling author for a book called Student Leadership Playbook, which I think many of you guys are going to get that as a free gift. And then I also broke the record at McDonald's for the most Happy Meals eaten in one day. If you want to take a guess, go ahead and get in the comments. I'll give a special gift if anyone gets right the amount of Happy Meals that I ate in one day. But I wanted to talk to you guys not just about about all the records, because I wasn't always like that. I didn't have all these things that I've done back then. Back when I was in school, I just had a vision that I wanted to go to college. I had a vision that I wanted to be the first one in my family to go to college. I had a vision that I wanted to play college football. I had a vision that I wanted to go to a prestigious school and have this amazing career. But I want to show you guys a quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. It says, from this quote, it says, without a vision, the people perish. Without a vision, the people perish. I've changed it up a little bit. I say without a vision, the students lose. So go ahead and write vision in the comments. Go to the comments, write down vision. Without a vision, the students lose. Now, I want to talk to you about different kinds of vision. There's a 2020 vision. People had been talking about this year. The year had been hyped up before. If you could remember back to before the pandemic, if you could remember back to before everything happened, people were saying that 2020 was the year of vision. And so when I talk about vision, I'm not just talking about what we can see with our eyes, the eyesight. Because if we look around things, if you look around, you're probably stuck in your home. But vision is something different from just sight. So people were talking about having a vision for 2020. Like this was going to be the year. A lot of people had put this year as it was going to be the most amazing year. I'm not sure if you had some goals for 2020. If you did have some goals, some vision for 2020, go ahead and share the vision that you had for this upcoming year or for this current year right now. Now, I had some goals and some vision. I've actually been accomplishing a lot of my goals and my vision. And there's some things that I never would have even thought to see for myself, but I'm seeing them now. And so I'm able to do some amazing things now. But back when I was in middle school, when I was in 7th grade, I had a vision that I was going to be a great football player. I had a vision that I was going to be a great student. I had a vision that someday, so I got my shoulder pads on. I remember 7th grade like it was yesterday. I'm putting on my shoulder pads. I got my helmet on. I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm a stud. And I think to myself, someday I'm going to be, or this year currently, right now when I'm in 7th grade, this year, I'm going to be an amazing football player. And then I'm thinking some years from now, I'm going to be an amazing varsity athlete. And then I'm thinking years farther down the line, I'm going to be this amazing college football player. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about your goals this year, but then I want you to think about how they apply to your vision, your goals, your dreams 4 years from now. Like if you were a freshman right now, 2024, you're going to be graduating. I want you to imagine what that's going to be like when you graduate. Your parents are proud. Family members are proud. People come from all across the country to visit and watch you graduate and walk the stage, shaking the principal's hand, finishing what that's going to be like, what that's going to feel like. What are you going to do after that? What are you going to do right after right after high school? Some kids, they go directly into college like that summer. They don't waste any time. They're already on campus. Then there's some kids who, they're thinking they're going to go to college, or they get a 2-year degree, whatever it might be, but they're thinking about college so that way they could have an amazing career. So I want you to think about your career, your vision. That's one of the things that I love about Gear Up is Gear Up helps to get all of you college and career ready. Because you all are in Gear Up, you will be college and career ready. So put vision in the chat and put vision going to college. If you imagine what school you want to go to, imagine where you want to be. I'll never forget that for me, Gear Up was one of the reasons why I had a vision for going to college. See, I didn't tell you before, but 7th grade happened to be a crazy, crazy year for me. And so 7th grade was this tough, tough year. And I wanted to go and do some amazing things, but I couldn't. That year's the year that my mom ended up going to prison. That year ended up being the year that my mom went to prison. My stepdad had already gone to prison. And so I have all these plans and these goals, and boom, it gets shut out. Or so people would have thought. But because Gear Up planted that vision in my mind, in my heart, and deep down inside, I had a vision that I was going to go to college, and I was not going to let go of the vision of going to college. And so even though no one in my family had ever done it, even though things were actually going terrible, terrible in my family, I ended up having to move in with my grandfather, who was a migrant field worker, which means that every day after school, I'm working in the fields with him. And he had only gone to the 3rd grade. So some people would have said that in my situation, there's no way that I could go to college, except people didn't realize that I had a vision that I was going to go to college, that I had a vision that I was going to have a career, that I had a vision that I was going to be powerful, all because of education. And so, I saw that some of you guys had gone on your college visit. See, I remember what it was like to go to college. I remember feeling that pride on the inside. I remember feeling so proud. So there's a lot of people that they didn't have the pride that I had. They didn't have the pride. So when things happened, they were ready to quit. So I want you to have pride. Pride can be a negative thing, but I want you to use pride in a positive way. I want you to say and say, you know what? You know who I am? I am a champion. I am a person that's going to college. So when you go and you stand on that stage like those students are at Baylor right now, I want you to think, I'm a college student. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be college and career ready. I want you to have that pride on the inside that you are going to go to college. And so one of my favorite quotes, one of the most cool people in the world ever in history, he passed away years ago, but his name was Nelson Mandela. And one of the key quotes that he said, education is the most powerful weapon to change the world. I want you guys to type down that entire quote right now. I want you to type down that entire quote. I want you to say that education is the key to changing the entire world. I want you to say that education is the key to changing the entire world. And so I put that up on the screen right now. Education is the key. So education is the key to changing the entire world. And so what I want you guys to do is I want you to change the world. I believe that you guys are going to be world changers, and you're not only going to change your own personal world, but you're going to change the world of everyone around you. You're going to be like Nelson Mandela, who is remembered in history because of all the great things that he did. Education is the most important weapon. See, there's a lot of people out there that will say that college and being college and career ready is not the most important thing. But I'll tell you right now that there are so many doors that have opened up in my life because I got an education. There's so many things that I've gotten or I have been able to experience, all because I made the decision that I was going to use education to be what got me out of the situation of, just like I said before, the situation where no one in my family had ever been in college. I didn't tell you before, but we were incredibly, incredibly poor. We're having to work in the hot fields in Texas. My family, we're a migrant, which I didn't explain fully, is you travel all the way across the country, which I do travel for work now, but I don't travel to go work in the hot sun like my grandfather did. I don't travel to go and work in the fields. Nothing wrong with that. That's amazing for my grandfather. He sacrificed so much for me, but I did not want that to be what I wanted, what I do in the future. So I want you guys to think about your future, your vision, and then I want you to understand that education is going to be the most powerful key to changing the world. And so I want you to think about how to have the best year in a pandemic. Now, one of the things that absolutely love breakfast in the morning. I love frying some eggs. So if you have a favorite breakfast, I often say to people that I have the secret weapon when I was trying to get big. See, I went from 250 pounds all the way up to 300 pounds in 1 year, so that way I could be the starting football player in college. And my secret weapon was my grandma. My grandma, she loved me so much. She made me breakfast every single day. She made me the breakfast of champions over the summer when I was getting ready to go to college for my second year. So I'm trying to get bigger. I'm trying to get stronger. And so for me, breakfast is such a huge part of that. My grandma, she would make me chorizo con huevo every single day. I love being in South Texas where we eat these breakfast tacos all the time. My grandma, she'd make me fresh arroz and frijoles. But I'm not sure if you guys have ever had it. This was my grandmother's specialty. My grandma, she would flip over these fresh homemade tortillas de harina. If you don't speak Spanish, those are the flour tortillas. And so she'd make it fresh from scratch. She'd put in that love. And I would put in extra love because I would put some butter on that. I take a bite, the butter fall down on me. Sorry, didn't mean to get carried away. But I absolutely love breakfast. And so my heart is broken that I have this pan that's all messed up. It got crushed earlier today. So this pan got crushed. And one of the things that happens when we are experiencing hard times, see, I just told you earlier that 2020 was supposed to be the year that we were going to have the most amazing year. 2020 was going to be the year of vision. 2020 was going to be the year. And what I see online, I see people posting on Facebook. I see people posting on Instagram. I see people's TikToks. And what I see over and over and over is that people are posting that 2020 year was a waste. People are posting that we should cancel 2020. People are posting that this is going to be the year that there's an asterisk next to the year. But I want you guys to make 2020 the year that you got a vision still. I want you to make 2020 the year that you still decided that you were going to have power through education. I want you guys to make a decision that you are going to change the perception of 2020. Take this time right now during National Gear Up Week to do everything you can to prepare to make 2020 the best you can possibly do. And so I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know because this pan it's been ruined. It's going to be hard to get it back to where I can use it again. And so I have to, if I really work at it, I can make it a little bit. So it's still difficult. It's still not quite ready. But if I continue to change things, so I don't know what it's going to be for you guys, what you guys do during National Gear Up Week. Maybe it's you're posting about what college you're going to go to. Type that in the chat. And so by posting what college you're going to go to, you're declaring in your mind and your heart and your soul what you're going to do this year to change and make it back to making 2020 the best possible. And so you're getting closer and closer. But I also want you to think about how maybe you could take a virtual tour. Maybe you can, whatever the programming is for National Gear Up Week and your campus and your community, I want you to take full advantage because every single day, so maybe on Monday you make a little bit of a change, and on Tuesday you make another little bit of a change, Wednesday's a little more, and then eventually you get closer and closer to normal. And while it's still kind of messed up, it's still kind of broken, I could still, and it doesn't look the same, and it might not look the way you thought it was going to look. Same way that National Gear Up Week isn't looking the same as we thought it was going to look either. But I can use this pan again. I can make some awesome breakfast for myself. I can make some awesome lunch for myself with this pan. It may not work the same. It may not look the same, but I can still use it. And so this year, students, I want you to think about how it may look totally different. It may feel different, but you could still use this year to have the most amazing year. I know when the year that my mom went to prison, everything changed for me. Everything seemed so difficult. But it was actually the year that I got to go, and that's the year that I joined student leadership groups. That's the year that I went on more college visits. That's the year that I studied more and went to tutoring more than ever before. And so even though that could have been a year where a lot of people would have given me the excuse that I can quit, instead, I was able to use education to bring power to my life. I was able to use education to become college and career ready. So that's one of the wonderful things about Gear Up. So if you guys could go and light up Gear Up, give them a bunch of likes, go follow their stuff. Make sure that we do that. Now, I did say that if you guys stayed all the way to the end, that I would share with you guys how I'm going to give one of you guys $100. And so What I want you to do is I want you to go to Instagram. Um, these are the key things you're going to need to do. You're going to hashtag National Gear Up Week. You're going to hashtag Gear Up Works. And I'm actually going to have you guys, if you look at the bottom right here, it's going to say hashtag National Gear Up Week, hashtag National Gear Up Works. Or I said it all wrong. Hashtag National Gear Up Week, hashtag Gear Up Works. I want you to tag me. So this is my personal Instagram. It's at jmedinaspeaks. And then if you don't know, the National Gear Up has their own it's an organization called ED Partnerships, and so I want you to tag them in the video that I post. I'm going to post this video on my Instagram. I want you to go comment on it, write down your vision, write down your dream, hashtag National Gear Up Week, hashtag Gear Up Works, tag me in it, tag ED Partnerships. Last year, one of the schools that brought me in to do school assembly, they were featured on the National Gear Week Instagram. So all the Gear Ups all across the United States got to see the work that we did that day. Now, so I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you guys to blow up, and I'm going to give one of you guys $100 just for doing that. But again, it's not about just winning $100 because your education is way more valuable than that. Again, we heard from Nelson Mandela. He said that education is the power. And we talked about vision. So I want you to remember that without a vision, the students lose. See, I believe in you guys. I'm so excited. I believe you are a champion. You're going to go and you're going to be college and career ready. Let's make National Gear Up Week the best National Gear Up Week we've ever had. Thank you so much to Ali Spencer for inviting me to be with you guys. Thank you so much to Mr. Guillen and Ms. Bell, I believe, or maybe it's the other way around. Sorry, I messed that up. So Principals Guillen and Principal Bell, and also thank you to Sheila Anderson at the Region 12 ESC Gear Up. Thank you guys. It's the most amazing time with you guys. The Gear Up works absolutely. So I want you to remember the vision, remember that education matters, and remember that you can be the change to make 2020 the best 2020 we've ever had. Or sorry, make 2020 the absolute best. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You are a champion, and don't forget, it's game time.